start taking a look at reporting. Once logged in, look to the bottom left of your screen and you should see the admin icon. Now, reporting is not made available to all users on 3CX by default. It is permissions based. So if you don't see the admin icon, this will mean that your system admin has not given you the appropriate permissions. So I'm going to click on admin and now we're in the admin console. Looking down the left hand side, I'll see the reports menu. I'm going to click on that and I'll now see a list of the different reports that you can run broken down by category. If you see any of the links are in grey, this means you're not able to run these particular reports. This could be because they're not relevant to your system configuration or you do not have the permissions. If you can't run something you need, do speak to your system administrator. We're not going to go into each report in detail, but we'll have a look at a good selection and learn how to apply filters, export data, and also how to save and schedule reports. More information on each report type is available on a link that I've put in the description, so please go and take a look at that down below. Let's start by bringing up a call log. So to do this, under the AI Summary and Sentiment section, we'll click on the call log link. The call log returns a list of all the calls that have been made and received on the phone system. But before we look through the data, we can filter this down. To do this, click on the funnel icon at the top, and now you can see we have some options. Firstly, we have range. This is by default set to today, so we'll return all the calls made, received or missed from today only. Clicking on the drop-down box will allow us to choose either some prescribed time periods, or if you scroll to the bottom you can choose custom and specify your own date range. Next we can choose to filter the list to calls that have come from a particular number. This can be an extension on the phone system or an external number, or even a part match of a number, for example to find all the calls from numbers starting with 01202. If you select on user, you can choose from a list of the extensions on the system. Now we'll look at the to field. Here we can choose the number or extension that calls were made to in the same way as from the from field. Finally, we have the call type field. This is where we choose to see either answered or unanswered calls. Of course, you don't need to fill any or all of these fields. It's just a useful way to pare down the amount of records that you review. Once you've completed your filter, click on the search button and the appropriate calls will now be presented to you. Looking at the columns of the report, we can see the following: the date and time of the call, the name and or number of the caller, the destination of the call, the status of the call, i.e. whether it was answered or unanswered, the length of time the call rang before being answered, the time spent talking on the call, the cost column, if you're paying for or recharging people for calls, you can list this information, and the termination reason. And here you will see which party hung the call up. If you're using call recording with the AI integration, you'll also see a sentiment score. 5 shows an excellent call through to 1 which is very bad. Now we have the transcription. Clicking on this will display a transcription of the entire call recording. Adjacent to the transcription is a small waveform icon. Clicking this will show you an AI-generated summary of the call recording. We've been constantly wowed by how accurate these are. Finally, at the end of each row there are 3 dots. Click these to reveal options to download or play the call recording. You can export your call report by clicking the Export CSV button, or you can print or PDF the report by clicking on the Print button, as this will generate a full-page HTML render of the report. When you're looking at the call list, this will show every segment of the call's journey through the phone system, so you can see on this report one call is broken down into 4 parts. Starting at the bottom, this shows the initial call reaching the phone system. In the reason column, we can see that the default answer point was replaced by IVR 850, which on this system is a digital receptionist. Looking at the next leg, we can see the caller spent 14 seconds listening to the prompts before choosing the option to be put through to technical. When the call went through to the technical queue, it spent 18 seconds talking, which will be the duration of the additional intro prompt. After this, the call was offered to Mr. Funny on extension 101. And we can see here that his phone rang for 9 seconds, he then answered the call and spoke for 50 seconds before hanging up. Let's go and have a look at some other reports. To get back to the menu, click on the back arrow at the top of the report window. To review the performance of extensions on your phone system, click on the Extension Statistics report. Here you can see a list of extensions together with the numbers of inbound and outbound calls they've made. You'll also spot a sentiment column. This produces an average sentiment score for each user. You can filter this report down by clicking the funnel icon and choosing the from date, call type of either all, internal or external, and finally, if configured, you can choose the department to focus on. As before, when you've made your filter choices, click on search. Let's head back to the main report menu again to look at a queue report. We'll click the back arrow and select Queue Performance Overview. Once you've configured your filter in the same way as previously, you'll see a list of all the queues on the system and the number of calls received, serviced and unanswered. Click on the disclosure triangle next to each queue and that will reveal all the users in the queue and display their individual performance, together with a total talk time and average talk time per call. You should have a good feel now for how to use the reports and create your own filters. So the best way to learn is to go and log in and explore the rest of the reports for yourself. But before we wrap this video up, there is one final reporting feature that I'm sure you'll find extremely useful, and that's scheduled reports. Once you've selected a suitable report and configured your filter, you can save the reports to your My Reports page and also have this automatically emailed to you on a schedule. Let's do this on an extension statistic report as an example. I'll go back to the main reports menu and select extension statistics. I'll configure my filter to look for yesterday's external calls for the department Mr. Men. Now I'm going to click on Save and Schedule and give the report an easily identifiable name. In the drop-down, I'll select Daily and enter the email address or addresses that I would like the report sent to. A dialog will now confirm that the report has been scheduled successfully, so I'll click OK. Every day, I'll receive an email with the report. The time that the email is sent out is managed centrally by your administrator. And that's it for this video. As I mentioned before, the best way to learn is by diving in and checking out the reports for yourself. But don't forget there is a help button in the top right hand corner of the page that has lots more information about all the reports that are available. I do hope you found this video useful. If you have, please do click the like button and consider subscribing to our channel. If you do subscribe, don't forget to click the